Dear students, so the next topic we are discussing today is ecosystem dynamics. Ecosystem dynamics involves different steps which is involved during an energetic process occurs in an ecosystem. So let's see what are the different steps. The four main steps involved in this process are the fixation of solar energy, production of organic materials, consumption and circulation of organic materials via food chain, energy transfer and its transformation. So what is the first step, that is fixation of solar energy? We know that solar energy constitutes the spectrum of different light having different wavelength, and it is the only source of energy that green plants are able to utilize. They are able to utilize this source of energy by carbon dioxide fixation, and the efficiency of carbon dioxide fixation generally depends upon the ability to transform this radiant or solar energy into electrical and chemical energy. And this conversion is generally occurs by means of two important processes, that is photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. About 1% of energy, which means around 3000 to 3400 kilocalories are only enters into the Earth's surface. And out of this 1%, only 0.002% is used for photosynthesis. And in which structure they are concerned with the photosynthesis? The chlorophyll content which is present in the chloroplast of the leaves of green plants are the only source which is able to fix this carbon via photosynthesis. So the first step is the fixation of solar energy. It is nothing but the solar energy is getting fixed by the green plants. The second stage is called the production of organic material. By using the solar energy, the green plants will synthesize the organic material, and hence it represents the first step in the energy circulation. Only 50% of average energy enters into the green plants is absorbed by chlorophyll system, and out of this 50%, only 1 to 5% is getting converted into food energy in the form of organic material, and the rest of 48% is getting evaporated or reflected back as heat. The producers, also called the green plants, will convert these inorganic compounds into food that the other organisms are able to exploit, or we can say to eat, or for eating, or for energy requirements, or for food. All the heterotrophs will depend upon this organic compounds which is produced by the green plants by photosynthesis. The majority of life on this planet is mainly based upon food chain, which revolves around sunlight as plants and make the food via photosynthesis. Those environment where there is no sunlight and thus no plants, organisms are generally producing organic matter in a different way, that is called the chemosynthesis. So, in the absence of photosynthesis, those organisms are able to produce this organic matter by means of a process called the chemosynthesis. So, we can generally say that both photosynthesis as well as chemosynthesis fuel all life on Earth. Then, what is meant by photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process which occurs mainly in green plants and also some bacteria, photosynthetic bacteria, wherever there is sufficient sunlight. On land, in shallow waters, and also even inside and below clear ice, we can see the photosynthesis. And in this process, all photosynthetic organisms are able to utilize the solar energy to turn carbon dioxide and water into sugar or the food. We can say it is organic materials and thereby produces the oxygen. So this is generally happens in the photosynthesis, and this represents the corresponding reaction which is taking place during a photosynthesis. By utilizing carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light, the plants will synthesize organic matter or sugar, thereby releases oxygen. Okay. Then comes chemosynthesis. Chemosynthesis, I told you that it occurs only in the absence of green plants. It occurs in certain chemosynthetic bacteria and other organisms which involve the use of energy released by inorganic chemical reactions to produce food. For more clearly, all chemosynthetic organisms utilizes energy which released by chemical reaction to make a sugar, but in a different species it uses different pathways. For example, in the case of hydrothermal vents, the vent bacteria oxidizes hydrogen sulfide by using carbon dioxide and oxygen and thereby synthesize the organic material here by releasing sulfur as well as water. But other bacteria make this organic matter by reducing sulfide or oxidizing methane. So this is the second stage of ecological dynamic. First stage is fixing of solar energy by green plants, and second step is the production of organic material by photosynthesis as well as chemosynthesis. And we can say that if we are looking in an ecological pyramid or an ecosystem or an ecological energetic, we can see that the base level is always occupied by the green plants, and the production of the food materials by the green plant is called the gross primary productivity, and all heterotrophs depends upon this gross primary productivity for their energy needs. For example, in the case of herbivorous level, the herbivores are those, they generally depend upon this organic food material for the food. So whenever the energy, if we are calculating the energy level at the herbivorous level, we can say the gross primary productivity minus the respiration will be the available energy which is present in the herbivorous level. Okay. So these are the two important terms associated with the productivity in ecosystem. Then comes the consumption and circulation of organic material. This is the third stage. Here we are discussing about how the synthesized organic material is getting consumed in different trophic level and it gets circulated through the ecosystem. The biotic factors, mainly the living components of the ecosystem, like herbivores and carnivores of ecosystem, depends upon this organic matter produced by either photosynthesis or chemosynthesis for their food and energy requirements. That is, the producers form the food material and the herbivores generally depends upon this producers for their food, and the carnivores depends these herbivores for their food. The process, so here you can see that there is an eating and being eating processes generally taking place. The herbivores eat producers and the carnivores eat herbivores. So this process of eating and being eating process forms the food chain, and it is the basis of circulation of organic material. The number of steps of the trophic level is limited to 4 to 5 since the energy decreases during each transfer. Okay, so this is a simple representation of an food chain. It starts from producers, then herbivores, then carnivores and decompose. Compared to these four organisms, we can see that the highest energy is generally found in these producers, and whenever it moves into the preceding trophic levels, the energy is getting very much reduced and it is least in decomposers, right? And based upon the starting of the food chain, there are generally two types of food chains are formed. They are grazing food chain and a detritus food chain. The grazing food chain means it depends upon the autotrophic plants. The starting material will be an autotrophic plants or an autotrophic organisms which captures the solar energy. For example, it starts from green plants, then herbivores, then carnivores and decompose. The respective example is grass fed by grasshopper, it's fed by frog, the frog is fed by snakes and the snakes are fed by hogs, and the man will feed these hogs, and finally the bacteria or decomposers will act upon all these organisms. Okay, so this is called a grazing food chain. Then comes the detritus food chain. Here it starts from dead and decaying organic food materials. Okay, So this detritus food chain is generally done by specialized organisms, which is called detritivores. They include algae, bacteria, fungi, protozoans, insects, crustaceans, mussels, etc. What is the purpose is that these organisms will ingest and digest the decaying organic materials. And here, some amount of energy is getting trapped and other will be excreted in the form of organic compounds. Okay, so during this eating and being eating process here taking place, only some amount of energy is getting trapped and other will be excreted in the form of organic compounds. And in this detritus food chain, the detritus will be the initial source of energy. Here you can see that the detritus in the soil will be the initial source. The detritus food chain starts from here, and this is fed by the earthworm. And we know that earthworms are fed by the birds, and man will feed certain birds. And upon the decaying of all this, so the death of all this, decaying of all these organisms, the bacteria will acts upon it. So this is the basic mechanism. Then the fourth stage is called the energy transformation. This is the last stage, and this is generally done by a set of bacteria that is called the transformers. Here what happens is that by means of the death of almost all organism or by means of the decaying of organic matters, many organic compounds are making in a suitable form that can be directly used by the green plants. So for the efficient use of this organic matter, certain bacteria which is dwelling in the soil will act upon this organic matter and make it in a suitable form. This is called the energy transformation. For example, nitrogen fixing bacteria. The ammonia as well as ammonia related compounds are getting converted into nitrates and nitrates only by means of certain bacteria which is dwelling in the soil or root nodules. That is called nitrogen fixing bacteria. And the other one is the scavengers as well as the detritivores. This also concerned with removing and eliminating dead and decaying matter which is found in our earth. Then only by the activity of this two, the organic as well as the dead matter will be decayed, and after that it will be available for the green plants for the efficient absorption of the nutrients. So I hope you understood what is meant by ecological dynamics. Thank you.